Hey, it's Drybear. Season 2 is out for the First Descendant, and the Void Vessels bring a brand new mechanic of Void Shields that a new weapon from the Battle Pass, the Voltia, solves in spades. So today, I'm going to go through the best builds to bring out the best damage in the brand new Battle Pass weapon, the Voltia. Now, you just have to get the Battle Pass in order to unlock this weapon, and historically, Battle Pass weapons have been a little bit hit or miss, but this one is actually in a very good position to be used exclusively for the Void Vessels, and even outside of that, for an AoE weapon. It shoots a continuous beam at the target and will arc off to other targets, and the damage to the shields goes up and up as you get duplicates of the weapon, which gets stronger and stronger. And the major real claim to fame for the Voltia this season is going to be the seasonal buff down here. If you go to your inversion reinforcement for season 2, there's a seasonal buff for the Voltia that gives you 12.8% firearm attack and 16% charging speed for the beam for 10 seconds as long as it bounces to at least 3 total targets, which is very easy to trick. And so you get tons of shield damage. This also allows you to have a skill build that maybe if your skill is on cooldown, Voltia can deal damage to all of the skill shields inside of the Void Vessel and even inside of like the hard special operations. Even on character builds like Freyna or Bunny, I still find myself bringing the Voltia after leveling it all the way up. And it has actually a few different ways that you can build it depending on what you're looking for. I think there is a good build for Gley. Like if you run a infinite ammo Gley, even with Predator Instinct or something, and run it just for Void Vessels, you can shred shields very quickly. And what's great about the Voltia is that when it's maxed out, you have all the duplicates. It does decent AoE as well. So if you wanted to run just a pure gun Gley or a gun Valby with the Voltia, it's actually good enough to run for Void Vessels if you want to clear them out. You'll be able to destroy the yellow weapon-only Void Shields, the blue skill-only Void Shields. Voltia does it all, and it's good enough for single target on the main boss, especially with the seasonal buff that'll give you more firearm attack and charging speed. And it wouldn't be a Drybear video without a proper spreadsheet here. So I just have a layout of the 3 different builds that I find viable for the Voltia in general. I think the top one is going to be for the Gley build, since you're not concerned with reloading or any of that info, especially if you're running for like pure gun Gley. You can focus a little bit more on the crit aspect and the weak point aspect and build it up that way. In this case, most of the stat rerolls are going to be the same. Keep in mind that most of the enemies, including the boss for the Void Vessel, at least as it stands right now, are Legion of Darkness, and so you can build this for a free firearm attack on those enemies and the boss. For the reroll in the Gley build, I would run crit and would run with mental focus as your main special mod, just because it builds up so easily. Getting more ammo, max ammo, and charge for this works great, and it's also awesome for Gley because depending on your duration of infinite ammo, you actually can just keep max charge with max mental focus, burning lots and lots of damage through shields, especially when you have duplicates of that. Then I would just run action reaction, charge amplification, rifling reinforcement for your firearm attack increase, fire rate up. Super conductivity charge is actually useful here because it's good on the arcing and spreading, and then just get weak point detection, insight focus. Unfortunately, once you get past like the 6th or 7th mod for Void Vessel Gley build, the weak point becomes your best value stat. It's pretty close to crit chance, and they're all pretty low in general, but I think this is going to be the best layout for Void Vessel Gley. The other option is if you don't want to run an elemental build, this is just a generic Voltia build. I would run firearm attack, bonus versus Legion of Darkness, electric attack, and crit damage. Crit damage still scales well, and it's also useful if you're running crit damage alongside charge amplification, where you're going to lose some of that stat up front. And in this case, I would run 2 recycling mods, Recycling Genius and Weapon Tuning, plus Expand Weapon Charge. Those will give you the most bang for your buck. I already ran the numbers on these, so those give you the highest overall DPS increase for the general build. However, there's some cool new mods and new builds that you can run with the new battle proficiency mod setup. So there's another build that I actually haven't had a chance to test out in game myself, but the running the numbers look really good. And that is using the new battle proficiency beam exclusive mods that build up a shred of defense and elemental attack. For this specifically, I think you would still run mental focus, reload insight, charge amp, action and reaction, rifling reinforcement, fire rate up, and then super conductivity charge and extra charge for the weapon as well. And you can run those together. Then we're going to run the new high voltage plasma. This is a beam rifle exclusive battle proficiency yellow mod, which means it doesn't conflict with mental focus. You can run both of those yellow mods in the same build. And what this does is as long as you don't miss the target for any hits, it builds up more electric attack for you and your damage output, plus it shreds the defense of the target at the same time. So the longer you're firing with this, the more damage it does. And it's also possible that you could run this with Gley as well. Just get rid of expand weapon charge and the reload and put some crit on it if you really wanted to, and that would still work great. I just don't have the mods, so I haven't been able to test it, but the numbers, like the math, lines up really, really well. And it's very possible the elemental beam build is the strongest build for all setups, including for Gley. You just swap out the weapon charge and the reload insight, because, you know, infinite ammo Gley doesn't really care about that. But what's great about it is you can build a bunch of damage. And then you would run electric enhancement. I think electric is the best for it because it has the damage amplification modification for that ailment when you apply the electrocution to the target. You run electric attack on the reroll for your weapon, electric enhancement, and then high voltage plasma, so you can line those all up. Presumably, if you wanted to, you could do fire enhancement, high voltage lava or whatever it is for the melting, and then run fire attack here. Same thing for poison or toxic if you really wanted to. Just make sure that your bonus elemental damage, your battle proficiency beam rifle build, and your re-rolled element all match. They need to match because it won't do the elemental damage for the second most damage on it. So if you had like 4,000 chill attack and 2,000 toxic attack, it'll only do the chill attack, which means that toxic attack is wasted in that. You want all of the elements to line up, and you also want the plasma module for battle proficiency to line up with that as well, so everything works together. Now, as I've been running the Void Vessels over and over, I've actually started to rely on the Voltia quite a lot. It's great for breaking open the barriers, if there's any leftover skill shields. It's also very strong at destroying the weapon shields because it arcs. It seems to arc towards the target that's creating the shield, so only a couple ticks of Voltia and all of those yellow weapon-only shields seem to just evaporate. And I also just kind of have it in hand, ready for when a skill shield appears. I switch to my Voltia, and if you're running like a character that has passive skill damage, like a Freyna, so you have like poison ticking naturally, you can have the poison ticking and then switch to your Voltia and fire the Voltia while you're passively dealing skill damage and just destroy the void shields and get rid of them very, very quickly. It's super reliable. I'm actually having a great time with this. And also keep in mind that you do want to make sure you have the seasonal buff active as well. Now, I know a lot of people are kind of iffy on Battle Pass weapons in general, and usually, like, Sigvor's was decent for a launcher, it was quite good. Excava was decent for an AR. It was only really reliable when you had the season buff active, but I would say this is probably the best one so far, and it's super fitting for the content. You can see how easily I can burn through any kind of void shield with this weapon, especially if you're running a skill-only character and you just have the Voltia in hand. I think it's super useful and very easy to get through this content if you're trying to farm up all the sheepdogs in the world and trying to get all those builds there. Now, you're going to want to farm up the new high voltage beam only modules. I don't have all of them yet. I have a couple of them, but you want to kind of work through that and get those there. And if you end up testing out the elemental beam build, which on paper is outperforming the other two quite significantly, then let me know how that goes for you, and I'll be continuing to test that. But I have a lot of people that are asking me for the Voltia build since it just came out. The weapon's available. They want to know what they can build for and how to level it up. So I have that set up for the Voltia as well. And hopefully this image has all the information that you need on here just for these overall. I normally do weightings for the modules, but I just went ahead and did this really quick to get this out. If the Voltia ends up having a different build or weightings down the line when I test things a lot more, then I might end up doing an updated here. But I just wanted to get this out for people that have the weapon, they want to build, they're ready to go, and I wanted to have this here. So there you go. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people, and don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.